So far we talked about continuity at a point, but we also have a definition on continuity on a closed interval AB. And so the definition is if we have a function is continuous on the closed interval AB, if the function is continuous on the open interval AB. And then we also have to show that limit approaching A from the right, so approaching A is this number right here, from the right is equal to f of A. And the limit of when of f of x, when x approaches B from the left, is equal to f of B. So what that means is this. So in this case, A is negative 3 and B is 3. And we want to show that this function right here is continuous on the closed interval AB. And so let's look at the graph. And so we look at the graph from negative 3 to between negative 3 and 3. There are no gaps, no holes anywhere in here. So we can see that the function is continuous on the open interval. So from the graph, we can see that the function f of x is continuous at each x in the open interval from negative 3 to 3. So for each x that is between negative 3 and 3, we see from the graph right here that the function is continuous. And now we just need to check those last two conditions. And so we need to show, that the limit as x approaches negative 3, this is negative 3 right here, and then we are approaching negative 3 from the right. That this is equal to f, the limit of f of x, and this must equal to f of negative 3. So this is part 1. We have to show that the function is continuous everywhere in between for every x between negative 3 and 3. Meaning you look at the graph, no gaps, no holes in between negative 3 and 3. And then we have to check the two endpoints, negative 3 and 3, by showing this. So we have f of negative 3 which is equal, so in the place of x, we have negative 3. This is equal to 0. And then we have to show limit of f of x when we're approaching 3 from the right. Where a limit of, as x approaches negative 3 from the right, we have to show that this is equal to 0 also. If we look at this function right here, we're approaching 3 from the right. And so these numbers right here, this is negative 1, negative 2, and then we get to like negative 2.9, negative 2.999. So we're getting closer and closer to negative 3 from the right. But in absolute value, these numbers, they are less than 3. And so if we take any of these numbers in here, if we put it in here, it'd be less than 9. Meaning as we get closer and closer to negative 3 from the right, this number will get closer and closer to 9, but smaller than 9. And therefore this quantity right here approaches 0. And so we have shown that the limit, this is equal to f of negative 3. And then the last part we need to show is this. The 3 instead of the negative 3. We need to show that the limit as x approaches 3 from the left, this is equal to 3. So 3 is right here, and we're approaching 3 from the left side. As we approach 3 from the left side, so first let's do f of 3 first. So f of 3 is just going to be 0 also. And then we need to do this limit right here. As x approaches 3, so this is 3 right here, and we're going to start from the left side, and then we're getting closer and closer and closer to 3. So we added like 2.99999, so it's getting closer and closer to 3. And so we get closer and closer to 3, then f of x or the y will get closer and closer to 0. So this will equal to this. And this will get closer and closer to 0. So we have this. So we have shown 3 things. We have shown that the function is continuous at each x between negative 3 and 3. And then we have shown that the limit f of x as x approaches negative 3 from the right is equal to f of negative 3. And then we also show that as x, the limit of f of x as x approaches 3 from the left is equal to f of 3. So we have shown 3 things, and therefore we can say that this function right here is continuous on the closed interval from negative 3 to 3. And here's the graph again. So we can see, we look at the graph, it only works for, it starts at negative 3 and to 3, and then outside of that, there's nothing else. There's nothing. And so the function here, we said the function is continuous on the closed interval negative 3 to 3.